Alright, welcome back. Here we are. Tonight I thought we would paint a few bears. Bears are kind of a cool animal. They come in all different shapes and sizes, all different colors. Here I've got a few pictures, reference photos of some grizzly bears or brown bears. They're really cool. They've got a light snout, light on their back, dark eyes, I don't know, dark down on the paws underneath. But some bears have a lot of different colors, like all different shades of browns and yellows. Anyways, it makes them a lot of fun to paint. Let's see, I got a couple of sketches of some bears. This is a pretty classic bear sketch. This bear could be standing in the water, standing somewhere else, in a field, somehow, somewhere, doing something. I don't know. Let's give this guy some color and see what happens. Okay, I hope you can see my paint's down here. I'm just gonna jump right in. Fairly thick amount of paint. What I want to do is get in a lot of color, and I want to be able to move that at some point, but I want to go really quick in through here. All those places where I think there ought to be some lighter color, I'm just going to dab some color on, and again, put it on fairly thick. Oh yeah, you can see right there. Fairly thick. I'm not going to worry too much about this corner, but wherever I just think that this bear has some lighter color, I'm going to use that. Then I'm going to move over to this color. You can see kind of what that is, a little bit darker, and I'm going to run this right in as my next color, just like this. I think this bear has got a little of this too. Bears in the wild, if you've ever really seen them, come in all sorts of different colors. Reds, browns, blacks, blondes, I mean everything in between. They're really such a neat creature. I'm really surprised we haven't tried to domesticate bears. I don't know if they even can be. I'm really surprised that we haven't, or maybe we have tried and we can't do it, but I just always thought growing up that would be such a neat thing to do. Alright, I got that brighter color on there that I want. Now I'm just going to kind of put some paint on here however we can. What I want to do is I want to keep the color of the arm here a little different than the color of that belly. And I'm just going to try to leave just the tiniest little sliver right there, so that we can tell that there is a difference. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I guess with a little less success, it won't matter at all. You'll see when we're done with this. And on this one, I'm just going to turn this a little bit so I can get in here just ever so slightly. If I just ever so slightly, it doesn't even need to be the whole way, just leave little tiniest little bit of light there. We'll see. I'm going to make his ear red here too. I guess I'll make both ears a little bit red. That'll be a nice look. I'll kind of even that out on his face a little bit. There we go. I wish, oh, let's see, I got where's my handy sponge that I normally use there. Alright, got some basic color blocked in on this bear. I guess I need a little bit right in there. I'm going to just leave his nose just unpainted for a second. I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to pretend as though, again I'm going to have to turn this just a little bit, as though our bear standing in a little bit of water here. don't know. To me, that kind of looks, he's standing in a little bit of water. Got a little bit of coloring there, that's fine. I'm going to take that and I'm going to set it off to the side right down here. I'm going to grab another bear. This one's kind of facing the opposite way. And while I'm waiting for this one to dry, just before we paint this one, I'm going to pick up these two pictures of bears here, and I want to show you something. Actually, I got a third one here, all drawn from the reference photographs that I have. You can see in this one I have really smooth lines. Really tried to get an outline of the bear, and it looks like a bear, and it's nice. But like this one, as soon as I stop with a smooth line and give it a little jagged line, give it some motion, that bear looks like it's in motion. It looks a lot better. And this one too, this one I might have gone a little crazy with it, but our bear here, it looks like he's got fur standing up around the ends. It looks like he's doing something, getting ready to go someplace. It's one of those things. If you paint it, if you paint your picture, if you draw your picture of your bear and make those lines with just a little bit of motion in them, that outside line, your pictures, just your drawings just suddenly come to life. It's amazing how that happens. And a lot of people would be content to draw a bear just like this and paint it in whatever style you want to paint it in and think that it's done really nice, and you'll walk into a gallery or you'll walk into somebody else's studio who's painted a bear and it'll be different from yours, and you'll look at it and you'll go, how did they get it to look like it's in motion? What did they do? Well, without being able to see it, I'll bet you they just changed the lines ever so slightly. That's all you have to do. It really is an amazing thing. I'm going to give this guy a much yellower snout here, and I'm going to try to darken this back here. Look at this big old guy here. I don't know if I have any gray on my palette. I guess I do. I'm looking. I've got my palette guide. Oops, I guess this way it looks exactly like the colors that are on my palette, so I can see. I do have a little gray in there. I'm trying to get just a little tiny touch of gray and touch down here and maybe back here. I don't like to use too much gray too often. It's really like, I already don't like that. I'm going to take it off. If we make a mistake, that's all we do. We just pat it off. Put our color back. In fact, that might be just enough gray right there. In fact, I like this with the color off of it. Kind of lighten it up a whole lot. Let's put this guy in a little field here, I think. I'm going to just mix a little brown and a little green just to make a different color here. Just going to put some grasses right around him, right up over top. That's okay if it's not perfect, it doesn't look quite right, doesn't matter. I keep telling you, so much of watercolors, so much doesn't matter. We leave so much to the viewer's imagination that we don't have to paint technically correct. We can be a little off here and there. We can just allow the viewer to think so much on their own. It's all going to work out for us. Oh yeah, look, we're putting him right in the grass there. Standing in some grass. Alright, I'm going to go back to my first one. I think we're probably just about dry enough. We might be a little wet right there, but I'm going to go over, get a really small brush, and I'm going to give him, in fact I can see I can't go in here and give him an eye yet. going to paint an eye in there. We're still just a tiny bit wet, and we're just a tiny bit wet on this one too. I'm going to pause the tape. We're going to let it dry for just a second, and I will be right back. Alright, here we are. Welcome back. Here we are. Our bears have dried. You can see on this one, we left it a little lighter up here, some ochre, some brown, into some reds down here, and you can tell where we did that. You can see the clear distinction. The underside of the belly is a different color from the leg, it's a different color from that leg. You make the clear distinction from these. The ear is prominent. This one came out great. And on here, it looks like it's got like a red back. The legs are a different color. You can see it. It looks like it's walking through the grass. We've got a couple of things left to do. I'm going to get a tiny little brush. I'll put a nose on these. I don't know. And a bit of a mouth and an eye. Looks a little strange. I've got a... Sorry, I had to hop up with a little towel. The mouth just isn't at the right angle. Goes back like that, I think. There's that little nose. I'm going to draw it back there. And I think that one's pretty good. I want to do this pretty light, actually. Just dabbing it a little bit. Bears, if you haven't seen them, really do have tiny little eyes. They're just dinky little. Where can we see? Look at the size of this beast. It's just giant thing. It's got these little dinky eyes on this one too. Little dinky eyes. Well, this one's got dark around its eye, but in general they're tiny. So there we are. I think they turned out pretty good. This gives you a good indication on how to make a nice, simple little bear in watercolor. I'm going to sign my name on these ones. Right there, right there. And for our demonstration, how to make a nice, simple bear in watercolor, I think we're done. You could go back. You could add more onto this. You could add more water. You could add some green around the bear standing in the woods maybe. Here you could add a little sky feature. You could darken the base of the bear. There's a lot more you can do with this, but you can see how quick and easy it is to make a simple bear in watercolor. Thanks for your review.